We are back with another fight evaluation. So after the last video, a lot of people actually really enjoyed me analyzing the fight of my homie who was on Street Beefs. So I figured, maybe I'll do another one. I was thinking about it, whatever. And I've had a couple people come up to me and tell me that they want to see more. So I have another fight on Street Beefs that I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna evaluate. It shouldn't be too long, but there is a lot to unpack between where people are looking, between their hands, between their feet, every there's lots of little things, right? But all these little things start adding up into one bigger picture, which is whether you win or whether you lose. So let's just get right into it and let's watch. So Beast versus Cooper.
Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. Round one. Let's work.
All right. So let's see. All right, off the rip, he goes for a calf. Well, not even a calf. He just goes for a kick. I'm not even going to say what kind of kick. I'm sorry. I still have not had my coffee yet, by the way. I have it right here next to me. So if I start messing up my words, that's all it is. Don't worry. And yes, I promise, this is actually coffee. So right off the rip, he goes for a kick. Right. Both arms drop. I don't like this position. I can't tell where he's looking because I see the back of his head, but it almost seems like he's looking in the upper area. He doesn't necessarily care so much about this kick. There's not a lot of force. There's no rotation. There's no pivot. There's nothing. There's not really a lot of behind this outside of this guy just kind of throwing his leg out. Again, it's still the beginning of the fight. There's going to be a lot of people just testing their distance, testing the reactions of other people, the flinch, what they're going to do, stuff like that. His arms drop. All right, he goes back. I'm happy he's back. He seems to have a little bit low of a guard. And I don't necessarily like the low guard that he has right here. I feel like it's going to screw him up. He's just kind of opening up this right side, especially because this guy is southpaw. He's just opening himself up. Even if it's for a jab. Those little things this guy, again, I just feel like off the rip, he's going to end up putting his hands up too much and he'll expose his body, or he'll put his hands too low and he'll expose his head. And there's not really that balance of like, all right, let me just attach and let me just, move around, get this back, get this figured out again. Even if he doesn't have center circle control. So I'm not a huge fan of the lower guard. This guy seems to have a higher guard where he's just he's ready to back up a move, that type of thing. But he's also ready to bounce in. Again, just a feeling. I don't actually know. We'll see. We still have a lot more of this fight to go. Throws a jab. Arm comes right back down. This is not looking so promising, and he is looking straight at him. He is not looking down. He's not looking a little bit. No, he's looking straight at him. Like, this camera is probably about level right here, and the fact that it almost looks like he's looking in our eyes, that's a good sign on his part. Bad on his. Jab comes right back down. His jab is just floating. It never really comes back, right? He kind of throws it out and then he brings it and it's just kind of still here, but he's not feeling it out. He's not trying to move anything. He's just doing it to keep it there so he could toss it out quicker, but there's nothing getting set up. Aside from the fact that, again, I know he's just feeling out. It has not been that long, but he needs to bring that hand back if he doesn't want to get rocked. All right, yeah, look, immediately, look at their heads. All right, if I were to freeze right here and they said, hey, you have to swing a baseball bat at one of their heads, who do you have a better chance of hitting? It would be him. Now, I know that's a really absurd example to go by, but that just shows the fact that it just in this stance alone, if he were to throw, he can protect. If he were to throw, he's not really protecting. And if he does, he's going to be throwing everything up there and exposing so much more below. So he needs to keep that high guard, because if I see somebody with a low guard, it'll be easier for me to throw it to their head. So I'll throw more to upwards. But if I see them with the guard right here at the ready, I'm not going to just keep throwing, knowing that I'm not going to be doing anything, because then I'm just going to be giving them more opportunities to counter what I'm doing. Right? So he needs to feel him out a little bit more protected, because I think this guy has a lot of information to go based off of right off the rip. He is a little bit wide though. I will say that's the one thing I'm not really liking. He's quite a bit wide. Legs are very, very wide. But he also might just be a little more comfortable that way, and all power to him. And the same thing for him. I know some people that have a very loose lower guard, but they move a lot. But he's more frantic than he is flowy. Enough talking, I know. Okay. So we have the jab, right here. A few things that stand out to me. Number one, if he would have stepped, he could just genuinely step in and get something right here, get something over, get the body, 100%. Or if you want to go for the takedown, even go for a leg. Right, he could definitely push something here. One thing I'm not. And also the position of his legs. It almost looks like he's coming out towards the where we are as the viewer. His left. It seems like he's coming to the left a little bit more, which you don't necessarily want to do because this is the guy's jab. If you move to the left, he can meet you with a cross right here. So just based off his legs, again, that just might be he moved his leg back because he saw the jab and he wanted to block, right? But him, he jabbed and he kept everything right here. So again, A, there's a lot of openings, but B, he didn't move off that center line, even though the center line's a little bit wonky. He needs to move his head, right? Because if he wanted to, he could definitely meet him with his left hand, boom, straight across right here. Or if he would have went in, boom, he could have went with an overhand right or to the body or anything. So he needs to just not be so linear, because all he's doing is just bam, right here. Bam, right here. When he boom, move off this way. Because now all of a sudden my hand's in your face. See, hi camera, hands right here. And if you were to throw where my head was, my head would be right where my coffee cup is. Right? So again, even if I move it back just a little bit, and if he was too scared to commit, he can kind of take that step back and move back. And now again, I'm still a little bit more off the center line, right? Look where my head is now. Boom, right here. Boop, see? Boop. My hand's in your face. That's what you're gonna be worried about blocking. And now I'm over here. So if you were to go for this swing, you would have missed, right? And he needs to start. And not that he doesn't think of those things, but he needs to start slowing down his mind and remembering that whatever he does, whatever kind of attack he's on, he needs to have at least an equal amount of defense prepared, right? He needs to back that up. So if I'm going to put 100% into my offense and start throwing boom, 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 I need to have 100% of a guaranteed escape route if I'm going to put 100% into throwing. You know what I mean? And again, that's just my personal take on it. I like to make sure no matter what I'm doing, I can always have it, escape from whatever's coming my way. But right here goes, he's just pushing distance. This kick realistically does nothing and almost could be considered illegal if you're trying to kick out their knee, especially on street beefs. So that was kind of unnecessary of a kick. He definitely could have put his foot up to teep, but that wasn't necessarily fully a teep. But he might be scared for the leg grab. At least his body is leaning back a little more right here. So I like to see that. All right. All right, we got some jabs from Red Gloves. He's feinting, trying to move. They're just moving right now. They're still feeling each other, Okay, I think I paused it at a perfect time. He did that little tiny light kick. Now, I don't actually think that kick was legit. I think he did that to give him almost a bit of a confidence boost of, oh, that's not bad. I can move in. Especially because you hear him go, you hear him breathe out with that kick as if he put into it. Right, listen. He breathed out with it, but I honestly think he's gonna answer back, and he's either gonna kick and then go for a throw, or he's gonna shoot at a kick. But what did I say? He shot out that kick. This guy shook. Look where he landed that too. Boom, and he got it right in, perfect amount. He's leaning back just enough where he can still have his balance and bring his leg back. Um, I can't see his foot, so I don't know if he pivoted. But based off the where his knee is, it seems like he at least pivoted it a little bit. Um, and his hand is still up here to protect, which I like that his hand is at least still up there. Oh, perfect moment. Right. So this guy is kind of blocking in terms of like, oh, I keep forgetting that, the camera's not right at my screen. He keeps blocking as like, oh, get away from me. Oh, get away from me type of thing. Right. And we see right here as I froze it, how that's affecting him. Is that's that panic push of like, no, get away, get away, get away, get away. But he needs to be able to train it to be where if he's going to do that, all right, he could, sorry, Mike, where he could, boom, kind of just get that jab out, get lower with it, right? I can't get lower because I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not standing. But, again, or put his whole body underneath so that when he goes, his shoulders are more towards his body, his head could be more towards here, and then he can back up and boom, exit with a hook and back it up, right? I mean, again, there's a lot of possibilities. There's like infinite amount of possibilities that you could almost do in lots of situations. But this guy is panic pushing. It's almost like it reminds me of like all the karate stuff you would see online when they're like, all right, now block, hoo, and they're doing that. Like that might work in the karate class, but when you start going up against stuff like this and you put that like, oh, I'm gonna push you down this way. Oh, he missed, but that's what could have happened. He missed. He's definitely very off center. He should definitely go for the body right here because he's gonna be a little bit antsy. Oh, nobody answered back. Wow, look at the wobble. Look at the wobble. So, look at the wobble from the black gloves white dude. And I know, I like to call people, by the way, based off the color of their gloves, not of their skin. Not because necessarily it's wrong or it's bad or racist. It's not. This dude's white, this dude's black. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just like to go based off the color of the gloves. I feel like it is way more respectful. That's just me, by the way. So, in case you were curious. He's wobbly. He's nervous. He answers with a nice little... It was nothing major, but he had a nice little tap here. Now he kicks. Black gloves kick. And I don't like that position. Again, if this guy... Like, again, I mean, they don't have fight films or anything, but knew he would have done that, he probably would have stepped in, eaten the kick, and boom, right here. Both arms are down. His body, his legs should be whoop straight, right? Should be straight with his body. Right now, he's making a curve right here. His legs should be back, and then his body should go also back. That way, when he kicks, he's keeping a kicking distance. He's keeping a leg distance. When you kick, you have more distance between you. So a lot of times, if we were doing like kicks, there's not as much of a possibility for me to swing unless I step in with one of your kicks or, again, somehow avoid your kick. Right? And step back, push it aside, come back in. Or if it's like Muay Thai, catch it, kick out the other leg, right? Stuff like that. But he's almost in like arm's distance and a fist distance, right? Like this is not, if you're kicking like that, you need to make sure that when you kick, you keep that kicking distance. If I'm kicking you, you should not be able to reach your arm out and practically graze my nose, if not possibly hit me. And that's where they're at right now. So he needs to like get more comfortable pivoting and just getting that balance. And again, that might come. He might not have very, very good balance as a person. We saw with the wobble, when he got panicked, he kind of wobbled in. It wasn't like he was moving back and forth. He was like, oh, this way, this way. So he just might need to work on his balance. And then that could help him develop into more prominent kicks, right? They'll be stronger, they'll be faster, they'll strike more accurate. And it'll also help him to stay more protected. Because if he's kicking, I feel like he's going to answer back with the hand in about a second. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Boom. Right to the overhand. Both arms are out. Again, panic. Push. Get away. That's just that's a habit. I mean, it's fight or flight. That's a human, like, naturally, that's what our bodies are, like, built to do. So there is nothing wrong necessarily with that. It's just that in the setting of this, you definitely can't be doing that. Again, whole body is exposed. Could get right down the center. Or there's a lot. And his stance, he's just kind of standing. And again, I know he just came out of the kick and the push, he gets right back into it, which is again great. There's a difference between this and this, right? Oof. All right. So a lot of the time when this guy jabs, he's not actually jabbing. It seems like he's just kind of trying to put his hand out in the guy's face, but he's kind of masking it as a jab. But there's no actual like, right? Ooh, right? Ooh, all right. Ooh, and then he can feint and boom, come back in with something. He's just kind of, or he'll have it already halfway out there, and then he puts his arm out and then steps into it. He's not like throwing it out and bringing it right back. He just kind of throws it there because he's trying to hit him with something. But with this position, you're not hitting anyone unless you're hammering them, and like this is not the time and the place to do it. But he's mainly using that as his guard. He's not even doing that because he's trying to hit something and he has to bring his hand up last second. He's doing that as like a, please don't hit me. It's like trying to keep his arm. So what it boils down to is that he just needs to work on staying a little more tight with his guards, and then when he throws, just being a little more loose. That's what it boils down to. All right. He's back in his position. Again, this guy's southpaw. And with southpaw, if I'm throwing, right, example. Southpaw, they throw their jab. That's going to be their right hand, right? And because you're almost fighting like a mirror, and when you're fighting in just boxing, kickboxing, MMA, Muay Thai type of thing, it's like a mirror. Like if I throw my jab to you, you should be able to throw your jab, and we can almost meet each other and just boom, keep jabbing each other like that. Boom. All right. Now we go for a cross. Boom. We should both, like, in a sense, if you don't move out the center line, you guys can both be hitting each other with the same things at the same exact time. If obviously y'all had it planned out, right? But with southpaw, obviously it's opposite. So if the southpaw guy is jabbing, that's his right hand. Your right hand, as an orthodox fighter, is your cross, which means when they jab, you can meet them, boom, with a cross. And normally when you fight, you want to move towards like the quote-unquote weaker side, which would be like their lead, right? Because if I throw my left straight, that's my jab. If I throw my right straight, that's a cross because I'm putting my body behind it. So you're going to want to move towards this direction where my jab is, not towards my cross, because you don't want to walk into a cross. That's going to hurt more than you walking into a jab. You take 101 jabs. You can't take that many crosses. So he might not know that. And so knowing that would help him to be like, when this guy is trying to throw out a jab just to throw him off or set him up, he could just meet him right there with the cross. And even if it's just a quick little hit and he backs up, that's enough to put in his head like, no, he is getting in, he's figuring him out. But there we go. We'll go back onto the video. Instead of my little rant. Yeah, his jab. He's just kind of scared. He's just kind of throwing it out there to be like, back up, back up. He's not throwing it to set himself up. Okay. Well, not a huge fan of this guy's position, the black gloves. The red gloves do his little kick. All right, perfect. Depart. He had also the black gloves turned his back on this one. Not a huge fan. Obviously, your back was kind of already turned, but like, I don't know. If I see a fight and I see the back turn for even half a second, I'm like, don't turn your back. But that's just like the inner coach, inner whatever inside of me, inner boxer, like just being like, don't turn your back no matter what. But again, in a situation like that, it's a little hard. But again, red gloves kind of had him grabbed. He almost, I don't know what he was necessarily going for. It was a very messy interaction. Right, he was gonna go for another one of those like weird knee kicks we were talking about before. He went for a kick at the same time. His leg is down. His arm is down. Leg is up. Both his arms are out. And he notices that. He gets right through. He knows he feels his arms right here, which is really, really good. And he answers with that. So that was clean on his part. But then it almost seems like he didn't mean to do that because he's grabbing him. So it's almost like he was like, oh, grab, but he hits him at the same time. So if he did that on purpose, that was like 10 out of 10, like really good reaction, really, really good self-awareness. If he did it on accident, well then great job. Anyway, right? Yeah, it was just a bit of a messy interaction. He's just trying to push his head off and try to get away. So he got out of there. So kudos to he got out of there, which was good. It was done. He got out. All right, let's see. Look at their demeanor. They're both they both are like, huh? Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? And I know there's not a lot of time that goes on in those like 2 seconds that happens, but there's a lot in their minds. Okay. So, seems like Red Gloves went to go set something up, whether he was gonna go and fake his jab and then come over, or if he was trying to like slap the guy's arm down to open up his head and then come over. He connects nonetheless. Now what I don't like is that he's going in a circular motion, Red Gloves. Look at where his arms are. So what he's doing, right, he throws that down, boom, it should come straight back. Almost like a tape measure. Think of it like a tape measure, right? Tape measures out, boom, right back in, right? And you get scared when the tape measure comes back in because you know it's going to go onto your finger, right? But this guy, he went, whoop, over, circled right back in. So he's kind of circling in this. And I'm not a huge fan of that circle. That circle motion. He's, whoo, again, this is like the motion in a sense. And that's not good because at one point your arms are out, right? You get them out, and now they're down. And then they got to come all the way back up, right? And he kind of keeps them down. And in this moment, right, look at the feet. Look where the feet are right here. So notice this, right? If the black gloves, the white dude right here, leaves his stance and just, boom, shells up in a sense, right? Not like shell like I'm scared, but like he just, boom, stands firm in that one spot. You know what he could do right here? Right? Look what he does. He sees the hand coming. His foot comes up because he's trying to step out. Right? And now look at his position, right? He's got his whole body facing towards him. He's got both feet like this. But if he would have kept his stance right here, right? Look right here. He's on this tile. Second to the one to the wall. Right? And then kind of this line right here. If he would have stood there, what could have happened is when this guy throws like this, he would have been almost inside. Inside, he would have taken it. Right, this guy's a little bit wide. He would have been inside right here, standing straight up here. And look, boom, just like this, he would have been straight up and down. He would not be back here. He'd be right here. And boom, he could have answered right to the head. Clean shot. Clean shot if he would have stood firm. But he keeps backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. And he's kind of hurting himself in that because he messes up his stance. He opens himself up, and he's not allowing himself to apply any pressure back. So if he would have stayed right here, look how wide it is. You have a lot of options. You can kick, go to the calf, go to the leg, go to the thigh. You can kick right here to the body. You can even kick to the head if you would have felt like it. You get hit to the body. You get hit to the head. You can go for a mount. You can grab his leg, boom, bam, slam right down, right? You have a lot of things you can do. I like that at the end of the day, he always likes to go right back into his position. That's a very good habit to have. He just needs to fix his arms so they're up more, which means he also just might have to do a little more shoulder workouts, or maybe he just, out of habit, he's always kept them down because when he spars and stuff like that, maybe it's not as hard, right? And so if he does get hit in the face, it's like, all right, you got me, you got me, right? Like that's how a lot of people spar because they just aren't trying to get hurt. So if he just needs to always focus on keeping his shoulders up when he's going, right? Boom, right, come out, boom, come out, right? Instead of just keeping them down here and then putting his hands up. Right, this guy goes for like a lead hook, misses, and again he keeps backing up. If he would have with his back foot taken a step back, boom, then he could have stepped right back in, answer back, but he didn't. Yeah. He couldn't because he's again backing up. You don't always have to back up. Oh, goes for the fake. Arms go up. I like how I pointed. Arms go up. Boom, kicks right here. Clean shot. Let's see. All right. A little bit of like a moment. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was a little more frantic. Goes for his right, misses. Boom, connects with the left because both this guy's arms are out. Arms being out, not working. And he's just throwing. He's not even throwing with power right now. He's just trying to throw to get in the guy's face, but it's not. The guy knows it's not doing anything. All right, now he gets him on the floor. And I don't necessarily know if he hit him clean enough where it was like he got rocked and it was like half a knockout kind of a thing. I just think the guy was stumbling and gassed, and he hit him. He was just like it just kind of rocked him a little bit. But I don't necessarily think he got knocked out with the way he fell. I don't think his whole body even went limp. He just, yeah, he's just gassed. He's tired. He's hurting a bit, and his especially from that kick to right to his lower body. All right. Well, now it's just pound, 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 pound. And at this point, there's like nothing you could do. Oh, except for right here. I saw it coming. Like, in that position when you're down here like this. Sorry. When you're down here like this, and the guy is like on this part, right? By going like this to try to push him away, I just opened up my face completely to getting boom, 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 pound right here. So he almost just should have went back a little more. And again, then he would have gotten his back taken. He could have went, the Red Gloves could have went for a rear naked choke. But then at that point, he could have at least tapped, and he wouldn't have bruises and black eyes, broken nose, bloody nose, whatever is about to come. Boom, boom. See? Yeah. At this point, it's over. Yeah, mouth guard. Mouth guard's out. Yeah. So, biggest takeaway from that, if you're watching this to learn, or you're watching this to evaluate it with me, maybe I missed some stuff, whatever, and you're like, oh, you didn't say this, right? But for me, the biggest takeaway you should take, whether you're a new fighter or if you're a new fighter specifically, never put both your arms out like this to block. Never. You can take a step back. You can boom, put your arm up. You can shell up a little bit if you have to, right? Don't put both your arms out. Or if you're gonna like go for like you're gonna catch it, right? Catch the hit, parry it, right? But don't be like reaching and everything. No. Please be a little more tight to yourself. Remember, they tell you what's the one thing they say right in the beginning? How many words? Protect yourself at all times. Those 5 words right there. That's 5 words. Protect yourself at all times. Yeah, that's 5 words. I don't know why I thought it was 6 for some reason. Those 5 words. Protect yourself at all times. That's the first thing they say because it is the most important. If you are not protecting yourself, no matter what you can do, no matter what kind of combos you have in the back, you won't even have a chance to use them if you do not protect yourself. So don't protect yourself by putting your arms out and whatever. No. Keep your hands up, right? Somebody comes, boom. I'm telling you, if they hit your glove and it's to your head, you're not gonna, especially if they're like the same weight class as you, you're not gonna be getting rocked like that. You're gonna be like, boom, I caught it, whatever, and then you can move. Always move. So that's the biggest takeaway. It was a good fight. I think the guy in the black gloves, he just needs to again work on not letting the human instinct part take over the boxing instinct. He needs to work on separating those two and being like, and slowing down his brain, being like, I am okay. He's not throwing anything. Oh, his arms are down. Let me utilize. Boom, 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 boom. Just things like that. And I think the guy in the red gloves, the biggest thing that he needs to work on, aside from keeping his hands up and stuff, and all that kind of stuff, right, is he just needs to work on his combos. Some of his combos seemed a little bit messy, right? He would throw, and then he'd go for something, whatever. But then he knew that because the other guy was kind of down, that he would have to be like, he could kind of back up, lower his guard, stuff like that. But you honestly never know. Just like he threw that little fake weak kick in the beginning, he could be doing the same. He could be bluffing. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the analysis. I know it was longer than the other one, but there was a lot to unpack, and I also went on a couple of rants. Not sorry. So if you enjoyed, drop a like. Let me know what you think. And if you have more fights that you want me to analyze, let me know in the comments. I'll search them up. So thank you so much for watching, and peace.